Well, good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today you have the Rhino. We're going to look at this beer. This beer is from Barley Days in Picton, Ontario. And it's one of those beers that takes something I hate and takes something I love and mingles them together. This is Scrimshaw Oyster Stout. I love stouts. Stouts are probably my favorite style of beer. I disdain seafood. I disdain oysters. I disdain the smell of them, the look of them, the taste of them, the feel of them. Now, years ago, my buddy brought me some beer from Barley Days, and one of the beers that was there was the Working Man Stout. And it was a fairly solid stout, and they didn't have it when I was on the website. I don't know if they make it anymore. I don't know anything like that, but this was the stout they had. So I'm like, you know what? I want to try everything out there anyway, so I'll take a gamble. I'll do it. I'll get the Scrimshaw Oyster Stout. I'll do it and I'll try it. So I'm going to go into this. I may not like it. I don't like the salinity that oysters can add to a beer. I don't like the taste that oysters can add to a beer all the time. It all matters what oysters they use and how many they use. But what I'm going to look at here, first and foremost, if I don't like the beer, I'm going to figure out if it's a brewing fault or if it's just me. I do this honestly. I want to try everything. You never know what you're going to find. And the only way to find out if there is anything in a style that you're going to like is by drinking it. So this is 4% alcohol by volume, and it's not like the Marston's Oyster Stout. This is not just a stout made to be drank with oysters. This actually is made with oysters. For those of you that don't know, there is a English stout that is out there. It calls itself an oyster stout, but there is no oysters in it. It's just made for pairing with oysters. This is water, barley, hops, oatmeal, yeast, and oysters. I don't think I've had an oyster stout that's used oatmeal before. And again, 4% alcohol, and I do believe that is the lowest ABV oyster stout I've ever seen. This shitty $6 bottle opener. I don't even know where my good ones are. Oh, it's back there. It's too far away. Okay. So there we go. She is poured. Oh, let me get the beer sock. Okay, she is poured. Beautiful black color, very little head, but off-white, almost mocha color. Little tiny bit of a snap, crackle, pop. Scent. I don't like the smell of that. Yeah, I don't like the smell of that. I do get a little bit of chocolate and a little bit of roastiness. I get some nice, I get those as nice stout scents. But I'm picking up that salinity and that not quite fishy, but fishy scent that oysters give off. It's not like fish. It's not like salmon or bass or catfish or anything like that. It doesn't have that smell, but it has that somewhat dirty, funky smell. Almost like snails, almost like escargot. That just kind of dirty, funky smell. That's what I get whenever I smell oysters, and it does kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like the bottle art either because of the oyster on here. And before I get somebody that loves Barley Days and loves this beer that gets on there and goes, well, why did you buy it if you don't like? Well, again, like I said earlier, you never know what you're going to get until you try it. There are some oyster stouts that I actually like, and there's some oyster stouts that I absolutely hate. And I do know that most of the time it's not a fault of the beer itself, it's a fault of my own personal preferences. But you still have to try things. You have to get yourself out of your comfort zone to learn and grow. So let's just try this beer. Let's stop talking about it. Cheers, guys. I'm a little scared. Cheers. Okay. So first and foremost, that wasn't the beer's fault. That was, I breathed in with my nose as I brought the cup up to my mouth, and I got just a whiff of the oysters, and it did make me gag a little bit. So not the beer's fault, because taste, it actually wasn't bad. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get more of it in now. All because of that. I could probably have drank it from the bottle. I probably could have drank it from the bottle. It's putting it in the glass, putting my face in the glass. That's the problem as of right now. But taste-wise, what I did get was a beautiful burnt molasses, nice charred wood, a little bit of deep roasted coffee, and just a tiny touch of salinity on that first sip at least. I'm going to try again. Let's breathe before we do this, okay? See, if I don't breathe when it comes up, I'm perfectly fine. It's that smell. That smell just does it for me. Yeah, it does have that... It does have a slight salinity and a slight off-putting shellfish type of taste. If you love shellfish, if you're a big clam, big oyster, big anything like that fan, you'll probably love this. You probably would, because especially if you love stouts as well, because it does have a nice stout body to it. Again, it's only 4% alcohol, but it has that nice medium body. It has that kind of velvety smoothness across your tongue. It has the roastiness. It has the sweetness. It has the coffee. It has everything in there, and then on the finish, you get that kind of just telltale shellfish taste. That odd, for me at least, it's just an odd salinity and fishiness that I get from basically any shellfish I've ever tried, be it mussels, be it whatever it is. I get it from all of those. The smell, if I breathe in when I bring this up to my face, yes, I do gag, and I do apologize to Bandit, to Barley Days for that, because that's no fault of your own. The beer is made to spec. I mean, for what I expect from an oyster stout, this is it. I do love the stout underneath of this, though. The stout underneath of this is something that I could drink every day. You take the oysters out, and I would probably be in heaven. I can't remember what Working Man Stout was. I don't know how close to Working Man Stout the base of this is. This could even be Working Man Stout with oysters added. I don't know. So I'll take one more sip, and then I'll give a final rating. I'm going to give a 2-mark rating here. I'm going to say personally, and then, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do a 2-mark rating. So, let's do this again. Yeah, coffee, roast, molasses, a little bit of chocolate, and then the salinity and the shellfishy taste. You ever notice that if you love something or you hate something, you taste it more in something it's in? I've always noticed that myself. Always have. Okay, so if my final rating is like this: if you took the shellfish out of this, if you took the oysters out of this, got rid of the oysters, so you took away those 2 tastes that I know are my oyster tastes. You take those away, this would probably be an 8.75. On the right day, maybe a 9 out of 10, because it's a solid session stout. With that stuff in there, for me personally, if I'm drinking it from the bottle, probably a 7. I could drink it. Well, you know what? Not a 7, because I wouldn't go out after it again. Probably a 6.75. I could drink it. I have no real problem with it. Out of the glass, probably a 5, because maybe even lower. Maybe even 4.5. Maybe a 4.75, because I can't, like, if I Yeah, I can't smell it while I bring it up to my face and drink it. I can't do it. It makes me gag, and again, it's not the beer's fault. It's not the brewer's fault. It's my hatred of one of the ingredients. So if there was no oysters in this, probably an 8.75. With oysters out of the bottle, probably a 6.75. Without the bottle, probably a 4. If I really, really had to, I could do it, but I don't want to. So what's that? That's 8.75 plus a 6.75. So 14, 15.50 plus a 4, 19.50 divided by 3. I guess that gives it a 6.75 overall. Not a bad mark. Not a bad mark. I wish I liked it more, but I don't. And that's just the way it is. Thank you guys. Bye.